I'm Alfred Bundy. Welcome to Meet the Leaders. We're having a special edition of Meet the Leaders here in Atlantic City at the 103rd League of Municipality Convention. My special guest is Assemblyman Freiman. How you doing, Roy?
I'm doing great. Thanks very much, Al.
Having a good time?
I'm having a great time. This is fun.
Tell us a little bit about your district.
Well, I am in the 16th district, which is made up of 4 counties. So we're spread out pretty wide. So we have Mercer County, Somerset County, Hunterdon, and Middlesex County.
Yeah, you are spread out. You do have a lot. One thing I want to talk to you a little bit, though, is about healthcare. How do we make it affordable and accessible to everybody here in New Jersey?
Well, healthcare is one of our biggest challenges in New Jersey, and we're going to have to really rethink it. So it's really, that's something that's really, really important to me. It affects everybody, small businesses, individuals.
It does.
And right now doing the same thing over and over again, which is really for the most part either requiring people to take on more of the cost or reducing the benefits. So those have really been the only 2 levers. And really what we need to do is really start thinking of it very, very differently. It's either
help us. What should we?
So it's really going to either have to do, how do you start looking at insurance pooling differently, bring in reinsurance, which hasn't been really done in the state, looking at plan designs differently. So it's really starting to saying, all right, how do we start looking at this from a different perspective? But we haven't done any new thinking about this.
And have you done any bills or looking at proposing a bill?
I think we're way too early on that because then you're just throwing more garbage on top of other stuff.
Okay.
So you really have to bring people together. And the problem is, whatever you do is going to be disruptive. And so the word disruptive scares people, and it breaks things up. And
now the people we talk about, are these actually the companies, the carriers? Who are we talking?
The answer is yes to all that. It's providers, it's everything. So you have a set process in place, and realistically, it's the consumers, us, and the ratepayers, and the business owners, and it's the cost. So in order to fix this, you're going to have a level of creativity and disruption in order to get a different outcome.
Okay, so hey, we're going to take some little bit of risk, but maybe a lot gained if we just sit down and talk.
We want a different outcome, and that's really what it is. Do you want a different outcome? So let's try some different thought process behind this.
I got you. You started to tell me about something. What you call it, the 218 Club?
218 Club. So we started a process. So when I first joined on, this is my first elected position ever. And when it came in, people were talking about, the good old days. With both sides of the aisle, you used to talk to one another. You've been around a little bit. You probably know about
those days are gone.
Well, and so I heard about those days being gone. And after voting sessions, people used to go out and have dinner together. And I said, well, why does it have to be gone? Why do the relationships have to be over? So I decided to say, well, why don't we get together for coffee before our voting sessions and bring the freshman assembly people together to get to know one another, get to know each other on a first name basis, so we can start building those relationships that used to be there.
Yeah, because it's important that we have good government. That needs everyone to move to the middle so often, not just stay on your extreme.
So the 218 reference is this is the 218th Assembly.
Great.
So we have the freshmen that have gotten together before a voting session. We're going to do it again in December. And it's really working of getting to know each other and building that trust and relationship.
Wow, you started a new wave. I mean, this is really
And it's just a matter of how are you going to work together and collaborate if you don't know one another.
That's a good point. Listen, one of the other crises we have in our state is related to the opioid. I mean, it's really ravishing our state. Talk to me how the state can help, ideas you might have.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because we talk about in the sheer numbers. There's probably going to be, if you could do some numbers, maybe about 600 auto fatalities in the state. There's going to be over 6,000 fatalities associated with drug overdoses in the state. So it's a massive number, and it keeps on growing year after year after year. So this is, and it affects every community across the board. So no one is exempt from this.
So true.
So I was actually fortunate. So one of the companies, the pharmaceutical companies, made a significant donation of pouches that you can use to dispose of unused medications. Because we know a lot of these addictions start in the medicine cabinet, where you have unused medications. So these pouches, it's very fascinating of what you, rather than having to, people store up their medications or maybe have unused narcotics in their house, they can actually take any unused medication, take this pouch, throw the medication in it, use tap water and neutralize their unused medication, and then just dispose it and throw it in the garbage, and it's perfectly safe. And instantaneously get rid of anything that's unused, so it's not available and it's no longer there. So why not actually, when someone actually picks up a prescription of a narcotic, these pouches are actually given to them as well. So if you have 1 or 2 leftover pills or any other kinds of pills in your house, these pouches are instantly available and the temptation is gone and it's out of the house immediately. So it's going to start with a lot of little steps to prevent people from getting there.
Share with me your biggest challenge as a new person in the New Jersey Assembly. Biggest challenge.
It's learning all of the steps. It is taking a drink from a fire hose. I will tell you that coming from where I was before, I worked in the world of financial services, and I dealt with a lot. There are no limits as to what you have to work with now as a legislator, but it is the most fantastic thing I've ever worked on. It is. So when I first got elected, I said, "Oh, this is a privilege. This is an honor." I really wasn't being truthful because I really didn't know what a privilege and an honor it really was until I really got into it. This is, I would say to anyone who has an opportunity to do this, absolutely do this. This is such a privilege to be able to work with people day in and day out, to have people come in with the needs and saying, please help. And the fact that I can help is it is amazing.
Stay with me. Hardest challenge. Let's make sure that's clear.
The hardest challenge is doing it all. Is trying to do it all.
We're out of time.
Thank
I want
you
to
so
thank
much.
you.
I appreciate it.
We're here at Meet the Leaders in Atlantic City.